NFL is remembering the life of former Commissioner Paul Tagliabue, who oversaw an era of unprecedented growth in the sport. He passed away at the age of 84 yesterday at his home in Maryland. Tagliabue served as the NFL's commissioner from 1989 to 2006. In those 17 years, he presided over a time of relative labor peace and climbing television ratings. The stability and revenue growth during his tenure pushed the value of franchises into the billions and provided the opportunity to add expansion teams. He's also known for creating the Rooney Rule, which requires teams with coaching vacancies to interview minority candidates for those jobs in good faith. Since then, the rule has expanded to include general manager and executive positions. Tagliabue had developed Parkinson's disease in recent years and, according to his family, died of heart failure. In a statement, the current NFL commissioner, Roger Goodell, said Tagliabue was, quote, the ultimate steward of the game.
On October 26, 1989, Tagliabue was elected as the 7th full-time chief executive in NFL history. Under Tagliabue's leadership, the league expanded from 28 teams to 32. New stadiums were constructed, and the game grew internationally.
And then of course, we pushed the NFL Europe League as hard as we could push it, and not so much for the purpose of developing revenue, but really for the purpose of developing fans and players.
The league also grew enormously in new media and with the launch of NFL Network. The NFL also secured the largest television contracts in entertainment history.
The NFL in the 21st century is not going to be the NFL that it was in the 20th century. It's going to continue to evolve as our society evolves. To everyone here in person or sharing this evening from afar, thank you all for honoring us and for helping us celebrate the past, the present, and the future of pro football. It's as great as it's ever been. Thank you very much.
Somebody big just died. Former NFL Commissioner Paul Tagliabue is dead at 84 years old. And my friend Mike North is here to help eulogize him. Mike, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good, Joe. Good to talk to you. We'll get to Paul Tagliabue in just a minute, but it's time to get our sponsors going, and they do a great job for us. They keep Somebody Big Just Died, one of the great franchises in podcasts. There's no doubt about it. And they've been great sponsors for us, both them and Pennyville Station, Cumberland Chapels, 8300 West Lawrence Avenue in Norridge, Illinois, cumberlandchapels.com, Anthony Lupo Sr., Peter Martino, Lupo Jr., Martino's doing a great job serving families with dignity for decades. A staple of the Northwest Side, the Northwest suburbs. There's the latest of testimonials on many people that have passed away, life, of course, being very precious, and you want it taken care of, even in death. You want to be taken care of. You want to make sure that the arrangements are done right, that it's economical, it's feasible. Well, you get it at Cumberland Chapel's Funeral Home, 8300 West Lawrence Avenue. We appreciate it very, very much. And then we have Pennyville Station. Pennyville Station, of course, Tony Antonacci's fine place, established in 2018, 112 Main Street in Park Ridge, Illinois, right across from the railroad station there. You can't miss it. There's a nice row of great establishments there now. Pennyville Station, just one of the finest places that you can go to. There I am with Jesse Rogers, and there I am with Tony Antonacci. Right there, 847-720-4841, private parties, what have you. They have happy hour every day from 2 until 5. That's happy 3 hours in my world back in the day. Blue Point oysters, $2.50 on the half shell. Well, what a nice day. You go in there about 3 o'clock, you have a couple libations, $6 truffle fries, kapow! Cauliflower, pork veggie pot stickers, Tito's frozen lemonade. You can't beat it. Yingling. Also,
Yingling.
Been there for 150 years. I said, I drank everything in my life. I never had Yingling. And they said, well, they finally hit the Chicago area. Okay.
There you go.
I go, yeah, because I would have asked for a Yingling in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s at some point. And now it's here in Chicago. You can't beat it, ladies and gentlemen. Yingling. We appreciate Pennyville Station and Cumberland Chapels very much. I got to tell you, Paul Tagliabue inherited the position from Pete Rozelle, who was one of the more popular commissioners, was with the NFL during its big push. Okay, but he took over and added a lot of things. He just didn't sit on his rear end and let Pete Rozelle, get all the glory. After that, he went out of his way to try to establish more for the National Football League. During his commissionership, they added 4 franchises. Jacksonville, Carolina, 4 of them total. Houston. There were some teams that left. We'll talk about them in a minute. A lot of stuff that hit him that he didn't even know was going to happen. He postponed games following September 11, 2001 over, of course, the situation that happened, and plus for security reasons. Now, to take you years later, in 1963, John F. Kennedy got assassinated. They played the next day, folks. They played football. The Bears played the Pittsburgh Steelers. They didn't take a day off back then. So they did that. It was a smart move. Also, they were supposed to give the Super Bowl to Arizona. Arizona elected at the time not to make a holiday for Martin Luther King. So Tagliabue decided, well, you're not going to have it. Okay. And they basically took that away from Arizona, and they eventually gave it to Arizona back in 1996 after the holiday was reinstituted. I don't know if people like that, but that's just the way that he felt. Because not everybody at the time was in unison. So he had a little wherewithal, if you will, to do the right thing. Say, let's get uniform here. They can't be the only state that's saying no, and we're going to give them a Super Bowl. So that's exactly what happened there. He started the World Football League, which was a mistake, in my opinion. And
NFL Europe?
Yeah, NFL Europe. That's what I meant. And that went on till about 2007. And then they just blew that up, and it became what it is now. What he did basically was do what I can't stand. We're going to go to other countries and make people like us. Okay.
Yeah.
He said it wasn't for the revenue. And NFL Europe, he wanted to put it in Berlin and other areas. And, guess what? Nobody liked it. And
now we get a game every week.
Now you get a game every week. Well, almost every week. They're going to start trying to give every franchise one game, because it is a competitive disadvantage for teams that have to travel. Jacksonville's been there. They played 2 games there already. Now, don't tell me it hasn't affected them. Maybe it has, maybe it hasn't. But I just don't like them going overseas to play home games. Okay?
Yeah.
So I think Tagliabue was out of line. Really, it wasn't Tagliabue that put that in. It was Goodell who said, you know what? It wasn't strong enough, but we're going to take our teams over there anyway. Okay. They play at 9 o'clock in the morning. They got to travel overseas while other teams get to stay at home. I'm not a fan. I think it's a mistake. I always have thought it was a mistake. I don't think they're ever going to go, God, the Jets are in town. I'm going to not go to the soccer game. I'm not going to the soccer game, or I'm not going to do this, not going to do that. Most of the fans that go there, a lot of them come from here. So you're really, defeating the purpose. The stands are not filled with, we got to find out what this game's all about.
You're giving Bears fans an opportunity to go to London or go to Berlin
like
or
they
whatever.
Did. The Bears were the first to go. Big deal. I mean, I'm glad the Bear fans went. They got a nice deal if that's what they want. I've been to London. Okay. It's a long trip. I was there for like 7-8 days. I know this, the players hate them. The players hate going overseas. That's a fact. I've talked to them. They don't like it, but they can't say anything. It's on the schedule. So if you're a player and you go, oh my God, we got to go to Berlin to play a damn home game. I think that's out of line. But a lot of things that he did. The expansion of the league was huge. Brand new stadiums on top of everything else. He was born November 24th, 1940 in Jersey City, New Jersey. He's an Italian boy, Paul Tagliabue. He was the son of Charles and May Tagliabue of Italian descent. He was raised in the Heights of Jersey City. He graduated in 1962 as president of the senior class at Georgetown. He also played basketball for Georgetown back in 1961, 62, as you can see there. He said later in 1992 in front of Congress that he had inadvertently played in a game where an opposing team would fix the outcome of the game in favor of Georgetown, which would be one factor in mind for him taking a staunch stance against gambling. Well, how's that worked out for everybody? Baseball players, football players, basketball players. They're all
the list keeps growing.
Yeah, the list keeps growing and growing.
Especially in Major League Baseball right now, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Joe. From 1969 to 89, he practiced law with the Washington, D.C. firm of Covington and Burling. He was the lawyer for the National Football League, which gave him the doorway to succeed Pete Rozelle. The expansion of the league was huge. It was very complicated. That's his wife, by the way. I interviewed Paul Tagliabue at the Super Bowl, and his wife, who did wonderful things for homeless people. I'll talk about her building homes for poor people in a little bit. They went from 28 to 32 teams. Charlotte and Jacksonville got them. Also, in Cleveland. Cleveland ended up moving, but what was smart is, like what they should have done with the Houston Texans, they should have kept the Houston Oilers thing, but this hit them all at once. So what they did later on, thank God, is they kept I don't know if the Cleveland Brown people feel good about this, because the Ravens went from Cleveland over to Baltimore, won a couple Super Bowls, and these Cleveland fans are still suffering bad. So, yeah, he kept the name. The 32nd franchise that he added was the Houston Texans back in 2002. NFL in Europe was a joke, in my opinion, but it was replaced with the NFL International Series in October 2007 with regular season games in London. On November 13th, 2022, the NFL played its first ever regular season game in mainland Europe in Munich, Germany. A joke. It's a joke. I don't like it. That's just the way it is. And I never will. In 95, yeah, show me that one, baby. Los Angeles lost both its franchises. And we were told forever that we needed Los Angeles franchises for the league to survive.
Needed it.
We had to have it. Well, guess what? It took a long time for LA to get a team. Not only that, they fixed it so they could build a brand new stadium. Nobody was clamoring for football in LA. Now they go to LA, and guess what?
Two teams.
They got two teams that are road teams.
They can't draw anybody. Yeah.
Because the Pittsburgh Steelers were there last week, and guess what? They lost. They lost, and they had more than half the stadium filled. So to me, I know they get the money. It's all equal and stuff. The move to LA, it was to build the new stadium. Goodell forced this one through. They should have gone with one team. San Diego should have stayed where they're at. They're renters here. They should have built a new stadium out there. Maybe they couldn't work it out. The Spanos brothers became like renters. That's what they are. They're second-class citizens. That's right, in their own stadium. And it really has been a joke because they're packed with other people. Yeah, Jimmy Irsay voted for it. I think he might have voted for it right after that. Because it ain't working out. I mean, it's a nice stadium and everything else, but come on. He took a stance against the state of Arizona, like I said. That was smart. Hit one of his better moves. He forcefully and successfully, because Tom Benson, after Hurricane Katrina, wanted out. The coward that he was. Wanted out, wanted to abandon the people of New Orleans. And guess what? Paul Tagliabue said, that's not going to happen. You're not moving. He wanted to move to San Antonio. I think it was the Alamo Dome back at the day. It's still, I don't know where it's at now. But he talked Tom Benson out of doing it. And he made the return to New Orleans a priority. That was a savvy move. Following his tenure as NFL commissioner, what a gig. He goes back to where he was, Covington and Burling, where he served as a senior council guy in 2008. He was selected to a 3-year term as chairman, also of Georgetown's University Board of Trustees. So he had stuff coming in from all over the place. He married Chandler Minter. I met Mrs. Tagliabue. I interviewed her like 2 years in a row at the Super Bowl. She was doing building homes for homeless people and cheaper homes and stuff like that. Wonderful lady. And I this one, when I say it, I mean it. They told me, hey, the commissioner's wife wants to come on, and I'm at the Super Bowl. I just interviewed Joe Namath. Joe Montana's coming up. They tell me I got to interview her. Guess what? It was great. She was a great person, a lot of fun. She was a great interview. Got nothing bad to ever say about her. Believe me when I tell you that. Or him. Now, he was criticized for the concussions situation.
Sure was.
Sort of like Bud Selig was. The concussion situation started happening, and it changed the game of football. It has changed the game for the worse. No doubt about it. As far as, guess what? You can't hit up high, which is fine. But you can still get concussions if you're hitting the midsection. You can hit your head, do whatever you got to do. But they put these priorities in place. I never saw that garbage. I wouldn't see it. I'm not one of these guys. If somebody has a concussion problem, tough. You're Micah Parsons making $46 million a year. You had 2 tackles last night. Don't come up to me 30 years later going, I can't remember my name. Okay? My mother-in-law had Alzheimer's. They started saying, oh, I can't remember this. I can't remember that. Then lawsuits started happening. But that fizzled out quickly because you have to prove without a reasonable doubt that concussions are the cause of your having Alzheimer's or becoming incapacitated. My mother-in-law had Alzheimer's, okay? Never played a down of football. A lot of people have issues from all walks of life, okay?
Absolutely.
My dad worked construction. He fell off a roof, broke his back, okay? That's part of the hazards of what he did. He worked with guys that died on the job. Nobody cried for them, okay? So if you're making $46 million a year like Micah Parsons, or if you were making a lot of money back then and you have a concussion, fine, you can quit. You have that right. Steve Young had concussions. Troy Aikman, does he look like he's concussed to you? I mean, the guy's had 3 concussions when he played. What's he going to come up 30 years from now after making millions of dollars doing TV and playing football and say, you know what? I can't remember, So I've always said It's a risk reward type of situation. Mike Ditka, sharper than attack up until recently. Okay. And he played with a pot on his head. The helmets were terrible. And this guy, Antonio Brown, he's in all sorts of trouble. I'm sure he's up for attempted murder because he had a concussion here or there.
And he's the king of concussions right there.
Yeah. So what they started doing is getting a bunch of players together having class action suits. And those fizzled out because a lot of players who weren't concussed or might have been concussed once were seeing an opportunity to make money. I think the National Football League, and I thought Paul Tagliabue, made the moves they had to make. The problem is if you hit a guy low now around the knees, you can get a penalty. If you hit a guy too hard now, not even contacting his head, you can get a roughing penalty. So
absolutely, it's ridiculous.
The game has become soft. When you touch a quarterback like this, you're getting an unnecessary roughness call. An unsport. So to me, that has changed the game more than anything. The threat of concussions, the threat of lawsuits. I thought Tagliabue did a good job instituting stuff. I think they've done a good job educating people now, including the tent now where guys can walk in and get the job done. But it's a much softer game now. I mean, you hit a guy 1 yard out of bounds. And this is the guy, Tua, who really caused the acceleration on stuff when it comes to concussions. He had one of the, he's had a 2-3 concussion, but he's still playing. But there's been improvements made. Okay. But you're never going to have that out of the game. You're never going to have concussions out of the game. And quite frankly, I don't give a damn. If somebody's got a concussion, take care of them. Because you know what? It's no different. Gale Sayers had his career ended after 6 years, and they had nothing to do with concussion. It's just the way the game is played. It's a violent game, but a lot of violence has been taken out of it because of the concussion situation. And I have no problem with that if that's what they want to do. It's just not as good a game as it used to be, period. And, I knew Dick Butkus, sharp as a tack. Mike Ditka, sharp as a tack. Troy Aikman, sounds sharp as a tack. Lots of guys have had concussions, and there's people that have them in all walks of life. So if you're making $20 million a year and you get a concussion, have it taken care of. And I'll hear from you in 30 years when you're saying, I can't remember because I played football. So that's the problem I've had with them. Okay. They got those helmets. Well, the Packers are the only team that I see has 2-3 players wearing them. That's fine with me. But, not too many other players are wearing these now.
They got to find a way to make them look a little.
Well, the Green Bay Packers are doing their best. Okay. And they had 2-3 guys. They played soft last night anyway. So, they scored 7 points. And Philadelphia, not one guy wore them. Not one guy. So if they were all that, then maybe more people would wear them. But I got to tell you, I would not wear one of those. I wanted to play in the NFL my whole life. I'm not wearing a mushroom helmet. Okay.
They're pretty rough.
Yeah, they're pretty rough. They really are. But the league has done, look at that. Goofy. But if that's what they want to do, and the league's probably got to deal with the helmet maker. Okay. But to me, a man, sign of weakness. That's just me. But I'm not going to tell somebody they can't do it. That's just the way I feel about it. I thought the guy did a pretty good job considering who he took over from. Pete Rozelle and other people. Pete Rozelle was as good as it gets. A lot of people moved on Tagliabue. Teams relocated. I thought he handled that well. He handled September 11th well. He handled the situation with Katrina well. So,
implemented the Rooney Rule, Mike.
Oh, the Rooney Rule is a good rule. Okay. The problem is the way that you can beat it is even if you don't want a black coach, which how could you not if the coach is good enough? Well, because there's certain owners that are prejudiced. That's just the way it is. But people are saying, well, you bring them in, you interview a black coach or you interview a minority coach, And then you pick a white coach and they go, oh, we interviewed the guy. He just didn't pass the interview. So it almost became one of these deals where you want to save your ass. You don't want to be called prejudice. Bring a black coach in. Okay. Guys like Ray Rhodes and other people, Flores, minority coach, he was coaching at Minnesota now. They're getting jobs, and deservedly so, because if they didn't have the Rooney Rule, I don't know how many of these guys would have hired black coaches back in the day. Mike Tomlin's been there for a long time now. There's been some successful black coaches, thank God. And you know what? He's been fine. And there's other coaches that are doing the job now too. So I think a lot of stuff was put in that Roselle did not have to mess around with. Now, real quick, his wife his son was gay. He had a gay son, was openly gay, resides in New York City. Emily Elizabeth Tagliabue is married to John D. Rockefeller. Woohoo! And they have a couple kids. Also, he won the 1992 Eagle Award from the United States Sports Academy. A well-decorated guy, did his job, did what he had to do, and he just had a fabulous career. And he's not going to be forgotten for some of the stuff that he put in as far as commissioner of the NFL. So, we got John Buffone coming up in just a few minutes here on the Bar Room. So we wanted to get him in. Tomorrow night, we're going to have Lenny Wilkins, and we're going to do an honorable mention to Michael Ray Richardson, who passed away also, former four-time All-Star. Lenny Wilkins was as good as he gets. So I just wanted to let everybody know that Paul Tagliabue, I give him a B. I give him a B after succeeding one of the more popular commissioners, Pete Rozelle, in the NFL. So on behalf of Joe Mandel, I'm Mike North. We appreciate you guys tuning in. That half hour went fast. We got John Buffone coming on. There he is. Danny Shimon and Lisa. So they're going to have a good time talking about the Bears, who are 6-3. On behalf of Joe, once again, and myself and everybody at the Bar Room, we wish you nothing but the best, and to the Tagliabue family, our condolences. Good night, everybody.